Hi, I'm Trantor. Welcome to our latest Aura Finance update for the month of October. And it certainly has been a busy month. We've seen the great unlockening for the vote-locked Aura tokens. We've seen new partnerships announced in terms of new incentive providers, as well as new and interesting integrations coming across a number of different platforms. Most notably, though, Aura Finance continues to be something where the tokenomics provide outsized returns, well over 100% APR, based on current prices and current pool positions. And we'll go through that at the very end to give you a breakdown of how things are looking. Now, of course, nothing in this video is financial advice, but I would ask that if you are interested or find this video useful, please leave a like, a comment, and consider subscribing to the channel. All right, without further ado, let's go through some of the updates. First off, significant number of new players over the last month. You'll notice Ethereum up in the top left, which is brand new protocol. They're currently in testnet. You'll notice Rocket Pool. This is a big deal because Rocket Pool, providing incentives on ETH and Optimism, which they currently are, is bringing an awful lot of TVL across to the Aura ecosystem and Balancer ecosystem. You've got Inverse Finance, another interesting protocol. Temple DAO, despite their ongoing internal problems at the moment. We'll see how that plays out. You've got Gnosis, you've got Lido, you've got DFX, you've got Ohm, and a number of sort of big protocols who are incentivizing their positions. And we can go through who's providing those incentives at the end as well. In upcoming news and things to be sort of announced and more details provided, first one is on Revest Finance. So Revest Finance themselves, an interesting protocol, but what they've done is developed a new product called Resonate. And what that product does essentially is you pick a specific yield-bearing sort of vault or liquidity position, and then you lock it for a period of time into what's called a FNFT, so a financial NFT. What you're able to then do is sell off the future yield and get paid out for that early, assuming you would only get, say, a percentage of that, and I don't know what percentage it is, but you get to have that essentially early and then sell off to someone else who's willing to hold it through to maturation. You, of course, then get your initial amount back, and you get to have you get to have your yield up front. So interesting stuff, and it's expected that support will be coming across to probably Aura positions in the next little while. So look out for that. Next one to talk to is on notional finance, and you can see from Teddy Woodward here this tweet. What this is looking to do is basically start the integration for leveraged vaults, and the example given here is for wrapped staked ETH and the ETH position, so that large pools, and what they might seek to do on Aura. This is, in this instance, providing up to a 43% expected yield. Clearly, the risk will be slightly higher than going for the straight balancer pool position. But again, I don't know enough about that yet. We'll see a little bit more as leverage vaults come out. But again, this is likely to be something that brings in significant TVL across to the Aura Finance platform. The final one to talk to was on Jones DAO. This one's very interesting. Jones DAO themselves are an Arbitrum-based pool who focus on options. And at the moment, we're unsure if this this partnership or whatever is coming is going to include Plutus DAO or anything to do with Dopex or some of the other things that they've got worked. But what we do know is that there's certainly something coming. The hat here, and it's all done in purple. This was all sent out by Jones DAO individuals and then retweeted and shared by Aura Finance. Fascinating stuff. We'll see how it plays out, but it's a pretty good indication that there's something going on with the old purple coin and what's happening with Jones DAO and their Indiana Jones theme. Next one to talk to in some of the big news, NFTs, so non-fungible tokens. So essentially what was announced, and this was a surprise to everybody, would there be 15 weeks of essentially relocking enabled NFTs up for grabs. So over the next 15 weeks, if you've got an NFT a vote locked Aura position due for relocking, and you can relock early, you have the opportunity to do so and then mint a free NFT. Now, there's a max of 5 per wallet, and they don't want too many of those, too many individuals to hold too many of the individual of specific NFTs. But if you look through, you'll see this is the percentage breakdown of what each of those NFTs do. At the moment, there's nothing for these NFTs. They don't provide any additional financial incentives, but they're certainly interesting little NFTs, and it's another opportunity to start speculating if you're so inclined. There's already a couple for sale on OpenSea, and you can go and take a look at those. This one here on the right was the one I got, and this is the uncommon version of the NFT. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit, and I did say I would do this, about what's happening with the unlockening. So if you look here, and we'll go across and annotate what we're talking about, so bring this up. This area here was when a lot of FUD started coming out on Twitter and a few other different places about the unlockening. And you could really refer to what happened with CVX in much the same way. So that's with the convex unlockening that happened for their great unlockening. The fear was that as a lot of people were airdropped and purchased during the liquidity bootstrapping period, that initial pool, all those people who initially locked their Aura tokens would then all have them really unlocked around the same time frame. So in a bit of a instead of the usual buy the rumor, sell the news, in this instance, you had sell the rumor and buy the news sort of event. So here you see a lot of FUD coming in combined with a fairly weak market to see a significant sell-off in Aura tokens, noting that the liquidity on Aura is not particularly high due to the large number of Aura tokens currently locked, really seeking to push down that token price. Once the actual unlocks happened, it was discovered there was very little in terms of actual selling. There was a lot more buying pressure. So you've actually seen a spike back in the price now as it's come back over $2 again from its lower positions of around $1.55, $1.58. I do want to make it clear, though, that this has not been a complete downtrend because there has been some inflation to the Aura token. Now, of course, this is to be expected with a new token that's incentivizing deposits by having this new token come in. So essentially from its high market cap of 40 million versus $4 back here, this went down to about 1.58. Had, of course, the total number of tokens out there remained the same, then this would have been at about 15 million. Instead, it's at around 20 million at its absolute lowest. And what this is indicative of course, is an inflation in the number of tokens, right? So that's not surprising, again, for a token that's building out its position and for a protocol, but just wanted to make that as clear as possible. All right, so we'll remove some of these so that we can go across. Now, the next thing I promised to show you was a quick look at some of the metrics for what's going on. So we'll close out of this and we'll get across to some of the different areas where we can look at what's going on. All right, so Aura Finance itself, 8.8 million tokens currently locked with a 26.2%, 26.28% share of all VBAL. Why this is interesting? Well, for starters, we're aware of what happened with the big fight against the whale some time ago. And that big fight against the whale essentially saw a lot of Balancer tokens that were essentially held become locked as everybody sought to get past BIPs 57A and B or 58. I can't remember exactly. Point being, though, is that decreased the overall share of VBAL held by Aura from sort of 30, 32% down to about 22%. What's happened since then is Aura is essentially, as part of steady state sort of operations, has continued to build up its overall percentage. This has happened as a result of the ongoing fee take that Aura does in terms of they take a percentage of BAL and automatically lock it into Aura BAL, as well as what's happening with individuals seeking better actual returns. So this is kind of like a natural creep up, back up over a quarter of the total VBAL out there now. So again, a growing position, and it's particularly relevant for the TVL, which continues to grow. So the more this TVL grows, the more people are going to want the Aura token, and the more that Aura token is going to be getting more of the VBAL share. And we can take a look on a Dune dashboard to get an understanding of that too. If you look at the VBAL shares and the top LPs, you'll note that Aura is on top for each of these. It's because Aura currently holds over 26% of these positions, right? There are others, but there's none anywhere near as big as what Aura holds at the moment, right? So again, some interesting stuff here, and you can head across to these Dune dashboards. The Balancer Labs VBAL one provides a good understanding of what's currently there. Now, if you head across to Hidden Hand, as you're probably all aware, manages the incentives for Aura Finance, along with a number of other tokens, like there's Balancer, Floor, Idle and Saddle, etc. and all these. Now, if you head across to Bribe Statistics here, you'll note, and I don't want to connect to the wallet here, you'll note there's two different things that they can provide data on. The first is on for Hidden Hand, its platform itself, and Aura, you can see what it does. So essentially for every dollar spent on bribes, and this is what's useful for liquidity providers, but so, DAOs, etc., $2.15 worth of emissions is coming back, right? So this is interesting stuff. Also notably, you can see that the record earnings per Aura is about 11 cents, not so important, but what is important is this part here. So for every vote-locked Aura that's currently voting, the average on the last round was about 6 cents, and that's looking pretty darn good. If we head across here, we can look at the historical for all these different, for the different rounds, you can see per pool what's been going on, and you can also take a look here in the overview and work out what the amount has been for each of the different rounds itself. So 6 cents, 6.5, 8 cents, 8 cents, 11 cents. You can see there's quite a bit of returns coming in for each of the individual vote-locked Aura tokens. Now, note that the actual value of an Aura token at the moment is about $2, and it's been as low as $1.60, which you talked to before. Now, to look at a different option or a different example, if we go across to Vodium with vote-locked CVX, it's still more efficient, according to this, at $1.55 for every dollar spent on bribes. But you'll note that in the rounds here, you're looking at, in this instance, just under 5 cents per vote-locked CVX. And the current price of CVX is well over twice the price, almost 3 times the price of the Aura token itself. So in terms of emissions you're getting a better than 3 times emissions as an individual, and DAOs are getting close to double. If we had a look at the overview, $1.55 versus, what do we say, $2.15. So again, significantly better for everybody. So the returns at this stage are just better on Aura Finance than they are currently on CVX. Now, just to be clear, I also hold CVX. This is just meant as a quick comparison for at the moment with what's going on. All right, so look, a lot of interesting stuff going on with Aura Finance. If we head across and open the app, no real additional news here, apart from to say that if you are someone who's looking to relock your vote locked Aura positions, you'll click on this NFT airdrop piece here. That'll then take you across, and you can click on what you want to get for your next token. Anyway, that's it for me today. If you've got any questions, then please let me know. See you next time.